search for that here. There it is. So if it gets a command saying, please do a control get projects data table, this follows a particular convention. I don't have to like it, but that's what it is. All it does is it calls its own subroutine, namely self, control get projects data table. So that's the actual routine in the CGI which will be invoked. And here it is. Now, what does it have to do? It has to get the SQL information from that table. How can a Perl program access an SQL database? With a Perl module. And the Perl module is called the DBI, the Database Interface Module. And it's available, you can get it. In fact, if you look at the top of this to see what it's, what sort of modules I'm using, among other things, I'm using, where is it? Where is the DBI? Oh, the DBI isn't in this file, of course. I'm going to call something else. So let's go back to where I was and go back to this routine. And what it does, it authenticates to see who you are, but then it invokes self-database read projects. And self-database is actually pointing to another piece of code that we have written. Here's read projects, and it's in another file, Kratylos database.pm. All of our database access is there. And what it does, here's read projects. It connects to the database. And then, now, do you know what an insertion attack is? There's a kind of vulnerability that many websites unfortunately have where they don't check the things you've entered into a form, and it just calls the database with exactly what you type in. Well, what if I type in something which has got a quote mark followed by a semicolon followed by a delete all? That looks not like the end of a SQL command followed by another SQL command. You want to avoid that. So how do you do that? Well, luckily the DBI module allows you, as you're building a very complicated SQL pattern, and here I'm building it, there's a lot of question marks in there. Every time I want to actually plug in a value, I say question mark. And later on, when I execute that particular query, I give values for all of the question marks. And that's safe, no matter how strange that value is and what special characters it has. They will not terminate the statements. This is the safe way. And if you're using other database connecting programs, you're not doing it from Perl, you're doing it from Python, or you're doing it from Java, you should always find something like this that allows you to set up your query in such a way that you don't explicitly put in all the data that you're looking for. You have question marks which are filled in at the time that you actually execute the query. So I'm executing a query which is a pretty complicated one because I want to make sure that the projects that you see are the projects you're allowed to see. So it's a kind of join between all the projects and those which this particular user either owns or are public or this person is a collaborator on. And once I've gotten all of those, a bunch of other stuff, eventually I return a bunch of records. And those records then are sent back to the CRAT CGI, which then sends it back through AJAX to the data tables, which then populates the data table. So a lot of detail goes on here. And of course, it took us years to get this right, and I didn't do all of this myself. Much of this, that particular part, was done by the RA, Jiho No, who worked for 3 years under my supervision, helping put this together. Much of the code is mine, the rest is his. It's pretty much been a two-person job so far. I like doing my own coding, because then I know what's going on. All right. Good. Now, I haven't shown you the actual data. Where's the Aramaic data? All I've shown you is metadata. To do that, we have to look at the file system, because that's actually stored in files. So, How many of you have seen the tree program? It's a very useful program. I don't remember it often enough when I need it. This says, starting at this particular place, projects Aramaic 2, show me all the files that are there in a nice tree form. And here they are. So under there, there's annotations. I didn't show you any annotations, but it's possible for an author to include in a particular entry extra information, like a picture, or a note, or some audio. I didn't show you any of those, but they exist. And you see that some of these are media, OGG, some are pictures, some are text. And there, that is a, what do you think that is? Yeah, and how do I generate the unique identifier so that every time I get to the same entry, I find only its annotations?
Hash of the name of it or something?
Exactly. It's the hash of the contents of the entry. The cryptographic digest of the contents of the entry. So even if I rearrange my data, if the entry is the same, I'll still get the annotation.
What if the entry changes?
Then the annotation is orphaned and I never clean it up. So the actual, let's go back up here. Let's look under conf.txt I don't use, that's old. The actual data that came in, this is the raw data, and we will look at it, that someone uploaded. Someone uploaded the EAF data and uploaded the text grid data. Actually, data has already been modified, it's been cooked. The raw is what they uploaded, and this is the raw stuff they uploaded. And I had to modify it because the format wasn't one I could deal with. I've got automated ways of modifying it. Okay, and under the EAF directory, I've got a database with index and key index. This is a database product built by Eric Herrick. Now, none of you here remembers, no, you remember Eric Herrick. When I first came, he was a graduate student. This was 31 years ago. He ended up doing a PhD thesis under my supervision. And one summer, when he didn't want to work on his thesis, he said, can I set the thesis aside for a bit? I've got this neat idea for how to build a database. And I said, sure. And it became the quick and dirty database, QDDB. And I use it to this day. Several of the projects which my students have built, I still use to this day. Another good example, another person who was there when I first came was Brian Sturgill. And we still use his software to maintain some of our computers. Anyway, I want to show you what the database looks like. So, let's look at it. I can get the mouse to do its thing. All right, that is what the database file looks like. Every entry is separated by just blank lines, and this is editable. This is not a database like SQL databases where the only way you can get at it is by using query language. Here, the way you get at it is with an editor. You can modify it. Now, this is not the editor interface, but it is actually just a text file. The database is a text file. And every field in it has got a serial number followed by a content. And so here, Cholula de Barneda. You can't see the re because this font doesn't have it. There's a re that's in here. Cholula de Barneda. Wedding of Barneda. And each of these has a tier indication. Now, if you actually want to see this in a way that you could modify it, not that I really want to modify it, but I'll show you how you could do that, because QDDB has an editing routine called QEdit. And I just said, look for the word wedding in that database. And now it brought it up in my favorite editor, which of course is VI, but you can specify. And this is what that first entry really says. There's a media, there's a schema that says how to interpret all of those ID numbers. And it's got two fields called combined. QDDB allows you to have duplicate fields. And it's got the align prot and the align gloss, whatever they are. Cholula, there's actually a thread there with hex 0263 is the symbol. And here's the next ithe, chalulana, bivavede. I can almost understand it. Aramaic is pretty close to Hebrew, and I can almost understand it. Knowing what it says, ithe would be yesh, chilula, bivavede. Yeah, sure, it's almost Hebrew. Anyway, so now let me get out of that editor, because I'm really not interested in modifying any of the data there. And I will continue by showing you what the raw data look like. This is what was actually uploaded. Let's just look at the EAF one. Now, when you see this, what format is this written in? It says at the very top. It says, I am an XML. You can hardly see it because of the color. Let me turn off coloring here. Syntax off. All right. And the green stuff means misspelled. Let's turn spelling off too. Okay. So that's what was actually given to me. That's what someone uploaded. It's XML, and it's an annotation document, which is enough to tell me that it's EAF format, and it happens to be format 2.8. This is XML. How many of you people have dealt with XML before? Right. XML is a super, HTML is a kind of XML, put it that way. And it's got these tags like header, and each tag requires a termination tag, which happens to be down here. And this one happens to be nicely indented, doesn't have to be. And you'll notice it's got a bunch of timestamps for time order, and that's not very helpful to me, so I modify it. So this is what I take and then I have to modify it. Let's look for TS3. TS3 is actually in an annotation where it says wedding of Bogdana. So if you want to hear Chalula de Bogdana, you've got to go to time slot 3 of the audio file. And where was time slot 3? It was at time value 3. And what's time value 3? Well, it's, I can't easily find it here, but it's at some number of milliseconds from the beginning. Right. So this is not a very helpful format. So I automatically convert it, knowing what this is supposed to look like, into something I can deal with. And I'm going to show you the cooked data. Cooked is the opposite of raw. So here is what I've turned it into. Now, this maybe looks worse because I don't have nicely aligned here. But let me turn off syntax again. And turn off, well, I'll leave the spelling thing because it's actually a bit helpful here. So I say it's an EAF file, and here is the text. It's got a timing, and it says use this file starting at millisecond 3 and ending, I'm sorry, it's at, millisecond 3 and ending at millisecond 1627, about 1.6 seconds in. That's the timing. And then there's a combined, 2 tiers combined. The phonetic is Kalula Da, which has a gloss wedding of, and another combined, whose phonetic is Bagdada, and whose gloss is Bagdada. And then there's a translation. So these are the various tiers in XML, and that's what's getting displayed. So once I have a search term, I find those entries, and I can, let me back up a bit. When someone uploads the data in an EAF format, automatically my program converts it to this XML, and then my program does another conversion into that database format, the QDDB format, using a template. Let's call it a style. And that style tells how to understand the XML and turn it into the QDDB. And I want to show you that next. The style for EAF. And yeah, here it is. I'm just going to have to DI that. Can I get the mouse to do this thing again? This is my own invention. This says how to parse an XML file. Now, I know what that XML file looks like because I built it. For some upload of data types, the XML that I'm given is perfectly fine, and I'll show you one of those as well. But for EAF, I've converted it, and I've converted it into, well, the outermost tag said EAF. And every tuple starts with the word text. So a tuple is anything started with EAF text. Every one of those is another tuple. Inside of that, there will be an XML thing called timing. There will be something called combined. And if it's not there, then I can ignore it. And there will be maybe something called tier. Inside of combined, I might get tier 1. These, what's the name of that format? The format by which you parse XML files or search within XML files. I first learned this when Neil gave a talk, and I had no idea what he was talking about. These are called XPath expressions. And I've got an XPath expression saying EAF / text / combined / tier 1 / add item. And that says, look for an XML tag EAF, within which should be a text, within which should be a combined, within which should be a tier 1, and inside of that, look for the attribute called item. That is something I wish to remember. That is something I'll put into the database. Each of these lines is separated into 3 pieces by this symbol. The first piece is the XPath expression. The second piece is what I should call that particular thing in my database. And in fact, when I go down to this, let's go back to, I don't want that one. Let's go back and read this, just so I can show you something. When I mouse over one of these, aligned gloss, that is one of those second entries. That's what I call that tier. This is called translation. And why is it called translation? Because somewhere down here, is this EAF? Yeah, EAF. Where do I get the word translation from? Text. Word. I don't see the word translation here. I'm just not seeing it. Or else I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, now that I'm here, I can actually show you this. Annotations. I have several annotations just for testing, just to show you can annotate. The author can annotate entries. And this annotation has got audio and text and even video. That's not important. All right, so the third item, I said it separates into 3 pieces. The piece to the left is the XPath. The next is the name as far as the database is concerned. And the next is CSS. That's where that CSS comes from. And I say, I would like you to use a font size which is only 90, that says percent. 90% standard size. I'd like you to make it color black. And in general, I don't want to see this. You can hide it. Although, if someone wants to see everything, then there it is. I don't know why it's not showing me more, but all right. Maybe there's no such data in this particular one. And there's color purple. You can set whatever you want here. Bold. So this particular thing here is color purple and bold, and it's called aligned gloss. And I'm a little surprised that I'm not seeing the name here. I must be looking at the wrong place. Anyway, I said that EAF I had to convert to my own format. It turns out that flex text, which is perhaps the most popular of all data types, comes in a pretty nice format. And when I look at that one, it's a complicated format, but I don't have to modify it. Every entry in the data will be under document, interlinear text, paragraph, phrases. And then I've got a bunch of XPaths saying how to find things in it. It takes some effort to get this XPath stuff right, but once it's right, I can just use this template. So this is actually a general purpose XML displayer. Given an XML file, and given a template like that, I can display it. All right, so that's the end of what I have prepared. Happy to answer any questions before I go on to the other surprise, for which I have only a few minutes. So, yeah, Harrison.
So is the reason why you used this Perl module to do all this instead of something like JavaScript simply because you like Perl more?
Well, the JavaScript is in the browser. The Perl module is in the back end, and they've got to work together. Now, it is possible to write code in the back end in JavaScript. There is standalone JavaScript. But I'm just much more familiar with Perl. And so I use Perl in the back end for doing all the heavy lifting, including the formatting, the generating the HTML and such. And then I use JavaScript inside the browser for things that have to be done inside the browser. Other questions? All right, and now for something very different. XKCD. How many of you know XKCD? Great. Well, there's some recent extremely funny cartoons. So here's one. Earth and Mars may look different now, but with some orbiting mirrors and atmospheric adjustments, we could change that. I'm having trouble selling people on my proposal to terraform Earth to resemble Mars. And there's always a little comment in here which you can find if you move the mouse into it. It has so many advantages. It preserves Martian life, requires fewer interplanetary launches, and makes it much easier to field test Mars rovers. Okay, short selling. I don't understand shorting stocks. Oh, it's like when we promise your firstborn to a witch for 5 magic beans. Is that a common? She's a sucker, right? You know your awful kid will be worth 1 or 2 beans at best. But then it turns out you love your kid. A love worth 200 beans. You can't afford that loss. There's only one way out. You gotta fight the witch. So you send your kid up the beanstalk to battle the giant who represents interest rates. This analogy is getting less helpful by the minute. If only you'd somehow shorted my wisdom before you asked. And the side note is, I'm selling all my analogies at auction tomorrow. And that witch over there will give you 20 beans if you promise on pain of death to win them for her. What if several people promise witches they'd win, creating some kind of a squeeze? Gosh, you could make a lot. Don't be silly. That'd probably never happen. So the computer says, you got this email 6 days ago. Do you want to follow up? The guy says, all right, I should do that. Did you forget the attachment? Oops. Today is the recipient's birthday. Do you want to mention that? Wait, it is? These reminders make me uncomfortable. Not because computers are getting too smart, but because it reminds me how often I fall short of even baseline levels of conscientiousness. The good news is that if the number of work and friend relationships you have exceeds your willingness to do the bare minimum to keep up with everyone's life events and stuff, one way or another, that problem eventually solves itself. I actually keep a file with the names of all of the students of mine who finished, so that if out of the blue someone says, hi, I got a master's degree from you 15 years ago, and now I'm working at XYZ company, I can add that. And I say, oh yes, and how's your wife Mary? And your dog Jim, because I've got it written down somewhere. I won't remember it. This is a great consensus New Year. When was the New Year? According to most people in the world. Well, Eastern Standard Time at 10 a.m. was not anyone's New Year, but suddenly in China it was New Year. And then when it was New Year in India, at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, half the people in the world, it was New Year already. Now, isn't that a great graph? Think of the research that's necessary to make that work. Maybe time for one more. Million, billion, and trillion. This graph, actual size of number this way, the perceived size of the number that way. 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, a billion. You don't think of a billion as a 1,000 million. It's another number. 10 billion, 100 billion, it's not a trillion. So, and the note here says, you can tell most people don't really assign an absolute meaning to these numbers. because in some places and time periods, billion is meant 1,000 times what it means in others. And none of us never even noticed. This is true. In England, a billion is 1,000 times what it is in America. Because they go million, milliard, billion. Whereas we go million, billion, multiplied by 10 to the third each time. So, just goes to show you. All right, keep tuned for Keeping Current. Hopefully we'll have someone sign up for next time. Otherwise, the surprise will be that it'll be canceled.